easy mind, easy life. Wonderful. So it's funny because I start off the days, right? And I go off to work in the morning. I work with older people in the morning, and some have dementia and others have Parkinson, or whatever's going on in their lives. And as I'm working through my mornings, right, I sit there and I think, well, I've got nothing to talk about today, right? And then I get home. I usually start off the day where I have no clue what I'm going to talk about. And then I got home today and I was having lunch, and as I'm sitting there, I'm watching a couple of videos, and then that was it. I was like, this is what you have to talk about. So something will always present itself for us to discuss and go through together, right? Today the subject was forgiveness. And the video I was watching, right, the person was talking about it's so important that you address whatever it was that you were angry about with that person, that parent. For the most part, it has to do with a parent in our childhood, right? That we didn't feel loved by them, or for whatever reason something happened, right? And we don't feel that we were loved the way we felt we needed to be loved. Anyway, as I'm watching this video and they're talking about, they confronted that person and they said to them what they needed to say and all the rest of it. And I was sitting there thinking, well, what happens to all the people who that person has already passed away? You can never get to a level of forgiveness because you can't confront them. Like all these things were going on in my mind. What happens with the people where their parent has already passed away, or that guardian, whoever it was that raised you, that you have issues with, right? You have attachments to the past because of this person. So, I'm sitting there thinking, well, how does that work? That means that you'll have these unresolved issues for the rest of your life, if that's the case, if you need to confront these people for what they did to you, right? So let's go through it, okay? Because forgiveness is not, for me, it has nothing to do with confronting that person. For me, it has everything to do with looking at the situation for what it was, right? And understanding, getting to a level of understanding and compassion that you can no longer look at yourself as the victim, and you can no longer see that person as the perpetrator, so to speak, right? The person that wronged you, and that you've carried this shame, this guilt, this anger, pain, fear, whatever it is that you've been, that's stuck in here that you can't seem to release because of what happened with this person. And it can be something that's been repeated many, many times throughout your childhood, like being smacked and being yelled at and things like that. That is a pattern, right, that you have to endure until you've grown up and you've left, unless you continue on that pattern yourself as the parent, right? In which case you're in a loop, you're in a never-ending cycle of abuse, right? Because that's what it is. So let's look at it, all right? Whatever the situation was, okay? Now we've had a few videos where we were looking at it from the outside, looking at it as if it was a movie, right? But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to look at that person, and I need you to try and look at the events, right? What happened? And then instead of seeing it as you receiving that abuse, I need you to put that person, that parent, whichever one, or if it was both, whichever one, pick one. It's usually easier to do one at a time, even if they're both the same. Pick one of those parents that you want to unattach from. You want to free yourself from that, right? This is what we're here for, freedom. So take that person and now put them in your place. It's no longer you. You are now looking at it from the outside, like you're watching a movie, and you're watching that parent receiving that treatment. Okay? It's very important to understand that we learn behaviors along the way. We learn these patterns. And for many of us, they become ingrained, especially when it's really abusive behaviors, right? They become ingrained in you because you've had to endure them over and over and over and over again. So the first step for me was to take myself out of that position and put my mum in that spot. Okay, now she is the one that is receiving the treatment. She is the one receiving the smacks. She's the one receiving the yelling. She's the one receiving all the things that she did to me. But now she was the 5-year-old child receiving this treatment. And now all of a sudden it's not you that's receiving it. You're looking at it from outside. But you're seeing that grown up and how that grown up came to be the way they are. To me, that was the most important step. Because when you understand that you came into the world and that you are the love, and I will say this 1,000,000 times because it is the truth. You come into the world and you are love. You are nothing but love. You don't know anything else. You are the light and the love. And you are given to these grown-ups as an opportunity. And they've gone through all of these experiences. By the time you get to them, they've been through 20, 30, 40 years of having all these experiences. And so they are who they are today because of the experiences that they've had along the way. You see, they didn't just get to 20 and have you, right? But they've had perfect life up until now. Loving parents, beautiful home, perfect school. You know, they were the ideal student at school, never an issue. They got to the age of 20, 30, whatever age it was, and they had you as a child, and they decided, oh, well, let's do to that child everything that we didn't have, right? Let's abuse them, let's yell them, let's smack them, let's do all the things that we didn't have. Let's see what happens. Just for giggles. It doesn't work that way. Oh dear, it doesn't work that way. The most important thing is to realize that that person that caused you pain in your childhood is coming from a place of pain inside. And they don't know another way to be. They don't know another way. They don't know how to speak to you in a different way. They don't know how to do anything differently than what they did. They don't know that there is another way. They're still holding on to their pain of what they went through. And that's how they are interacting with the world. In this video, can we at least try to get to that step, that first step? See that adult, see that parent, whoever it was that raised you, that caused you the most pain. Choose one. If you need to do both, you can come back to this video and do it again. It's fine. Do it as many times as you need to, because this is your life. And if you're not willing to look at your own life, to sit with yourself and understand how it is that you got here. Who's going to do it for you? It's something that cannot be done by someone else. It cannot be done. It's like exercise. I can't go for a walk for an hour and my husband benefits if he's been sitting on the computer the whole time I've been out. It just doesn't work that way. And this beautiful healing that we're trying to do here is the same. You have to put in the time. You have to look at yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. It just doesn't work that way. So in this video, I really encourage you to look at that person as a 5-year-old. And look at what that person has been through to get to where they were when you arrived. That is the mission. It's like a mission impossible. If you're willing to take the mission, we can do this. We can do this together. Trust me, I was angry for so long with my mum. So angry, so angry. I thought I would never be able to forgive her, ever. I was so angry. And yet here we are. I don't have any issues. So I'm showing you how I managed to forgive and let go and be free of all that, so that anger doesn't affect me anymore. All right, my darlings, I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And just for today, I want you to see that parent as a 5-year-old. Stop looking at them as that grown-up and start looking at them as the 5-year-old. And what that 5-year-old must have been going through for them to get to where they were when you were born. All right, my darlings? I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.